Our directions ask us to evaluate when m is equal to -4 and v is equal to 7. So basically we're going to substitute, plug in these numbers for the variables. And complicated ones like this, especially if I'm evaluating negative numbers, I usually use parentheses when I substitute. So I'm going to do this first by hand. So for v, what is v? 7 minus the absolute value of the opposite of v, so negative, and since v is positive, I'm actually not going to use parentheses on this one, minus 2. For this m, I am going to use parentheses. If I do not use parentheses, it might look like minus. Okay, and then this part's really tricky right here. This is the opposite of m. Well, m is negative. So the opposite of a negative will become positive. Just to write it out by hand so you can see what I mean, it's the opposite of m, and m is negative all over 2. Okay, so I'm going to begin by just very, very small, simplifying things here. Let's see. 2, I don't really need these parentheses. If I put a little dot, that works the same. 2 times 7 minus the absolute value of, I know I'm going to do that first. That's going to be parentheses. Let me come back there. And then plus, this is the opposite of negative is positive, so plus 4 divided by 2. Okay. In here, again, absolute value, it's a grouping symbol, so it falls under parentheses for order of operations. We're going to do, this is minus, and then this is times, so we're going to do the multiplication first. Now, I like to treat, when I have a minus, I like to treat it like a negative. So what I'm going to think is actually negative times negative is positive. 2 times 4 is 8. And then over here I've got a negative 7. Okay, I'm going to continue with this absolute value. 2 times 7 minus. Now, negative 7 plus 8 is 1. Okay? And the absolute value of 1 is 1. So let's go ahead and just finish up the absolute value. I've got the cube on the outside plus 4. Now I've got room to put it back into the fraction that I like to look at. I was too squished up here. Okay. Parentheses or grouping symbols are finished. So exponents is next. Here's my exponents. I'm going to do this. 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. So it's 2 times 7 minus 1 plus 4 divided by 2. Okay, next, let's see, we've done parentheses, we've done exponents. Next is multiply and divide. Okay, so we've got both, and we can do them at the same time. We're going to move from left to right. So 2 times 7 is 14 minus 1, and then I'm just going to go ahead and take care of this in the same step. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And I finish my multiplication and division. The last step is addition and subtraction. Again, I have more than one. I have subtraction and addition. I have to go in order from left to right. So 14 minus 1 is 13, and then plus 2 is 15. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to use my calculator to evaluate this. I always do both and make sure that they're the same. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is to store my variables. So negative 4, store into m, alpha m, and 7, store into v, there it is. Okay. And now I'm going to enter my expression. So 2v minus, okay, for absolute values, it's under math, or you can actually go to the catalog over here under numbers. So absolute, number 1, ABS. Okay, and inside the absolute value, I've got the opposite of v, So the opposite of V, I keep losing V, minus 2m. Okay, and that arrow is saying if you want to get out, just push the arrow here. I'm going to push this arrow. Okay, now I'm out of the absolute value. To the third power, okay, get out of my exponent, plus, okay, negative m divided by 2. Enter. 15. So I got the same thing. I feel very confident about my answer. My calculator and my at hand work were in agreement.